Call this meeting of the ONWASA Board of Directors, Thursday, November the 16th, to order. And ask our Secretary Treasurer, Pat, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you would join me for an invocation, pray with me. Father, we thank you for the day that you give us, Lord, for our good health and our travels. Lord, we pray for this board tonight that you would be with the decisions that are made here to what we do. Lord, that it would be the best for Onslow County, for our community, and Lord, that it would all be in your will. Pray that you'll guide and direct what we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, moving right along. I'm going to ask everybody to turn their cell phones off or to vibrate. Individual making presentations and public comments are asked to adjust the microphones as necessary to speak directly into the microphone. This meeting is being recorded. Ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
And we have a motion and a second. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Trying to get back here to where our business is. We're going to talk about item number 3, the North Topsail Beach Booster Pump Station. Mr. Moore, is that you? You're up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Different. Good evening, Chairman Bennett, members of the Board of Directors. The item before you this evening is a single prime construction contract for a new potable water booster pumping station and supporting infrastructure adjacent to the North Topsail Beach Town Hall. Once completed, this facility will be used on an as-needed basis to help maintain system operating pressure within the Topsail Island distribution system during periods of seasonal high demand. Main items of work include a 392 square foot elevated pump house on piling supports, a package booster pumping system with dual pumps, a 10-inch diameter water main connecting the pumping station to the island distribution system, and a new check valve and meter vault on a secondary water main at the north end of the island. This facility includes electrically actuated motors and controls that can be operated remotely from the ONWASA System Control Center at the main office. Final completion of the work is anticipated in June of 2024. As noted in the narrative within your agenda, the project was competitively bid twice due to lack of response on the first bid. The second round of bidding was opened on November 2nd. The apparent low bidder for the project was Carolina Utilities Company of Jacksonville, North Carolina, in the amount of $2,397,513.00. The bid submittal has been reviewed by the design engineer and determined responsive and responsible. So I'm recommending execution of the contract with this firm. The action requested this evening is to consider a motion to approve the amended project ordinance and proceed with construction contract in the amount of $2,397,513 with Carolina Utilities LLC for the North Topsail Beach Booster Pumping Station project, and authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute this contract and any additional documents as required in connection with this action after plat and deed approval by the town of North Topsail Beach. And that last proviso, we're still working with the town to finalize. We have the site determined for the booster pumping station. We're working with planning and the other entities involved down there to finalize the plat, and I don't anticipate any trouble with having it approved. We actually met on site with the police chief last week. They've got plans to build a building behind where our building's going to go, so we made sure we coordinated and there wouldn't be any interference with the two projects, so I think we're good there as well.
Can I have a motion to approve the project ordinance as Mr. Moore just read it?
So moved.
And a second? Do we have any discussion? Yes, sir.
Of course, North
Yes.
Topsail Beach guy.
Yes, of course.
Right. So I saw the I saw the magic date of June 24, which precedes the July 4th
Right.
that we had last year. I'm assuming that we are going to have some kind of plan in case that is not going to go forward on that date.
We ran a different operating scheme through the rest of the summer. We didn't have any issues after the 4th. I mean, the demand was down a little bit, but we will implement that same scheme in the spring. And in the event the pumping station's not done, we'll carry that through the holiday weekends. So.
Okay, and then just, I'm not trying to step into your business. We have water trucks, right? Is there any thought about, this is a peaking thing, and it's around where the St. Regis is, as you know, because the complaint, I made some presentations to them, and people were saying, I didn't have any water on the 4th of July.
Right.
All right, so I'm assuming, David, that we're gonna be, as a company, trying to figure out to make sure that there is water up there. And I don't know if we've got trucks to put it in. I mean, those are emergency things, like when a line goes out. But it'd be around that weekend, I think we're really gonna see a big thing. So anything we can kind of do would help. And then the second question, or two just real quick ones. Talking to Frankie, this bid was like $1 million less than the second bid?
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
I mean, I know you guys were happy with
let
the
me
two.
preface that. I haven't talked to the contractor directly, but the second bidder was the only bidder the first time. And you may have been anticipating that he'd be the only bidder the second time. So,
Oops.
That does happen occasionally.
No, when he told me it was $1 million difference, it just seems like everything's going up. And then just one final question, and it's really a board type question. Generally, when we allow the CEO to sign off on something, we put a caveat in there that the attorney for the town has signed off. I mean, I'm sure that's the process you go through on these contracts, but we give them the ability to make additions to the contract as long as he signs off on it. I don't know if that's standard practice or not.
If I could answer that, the answer is no, it's not. The reason for that is we have standard contracts, and as long as we're using the standard contract, there's really nothing for me to review. Now, if we come in with something that's strange, that's a whole different ballgame. But normally in our construction, we're using the same contracts, the same general conditions. Obviously, the specifications are written by the engineers. But the legal part, the front end, should be the same on every contract we're doing.
Okay, what you're saying is you don't need the flexibility that we build in.
That's right.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Do you have a comment?
Yes, the June date, was that a completion date in the contract?
I believe that's substantial completion and ready to operate.
Okay. One thing that I know a lot of people just have problems getting things to be completed on time, just for multiple reasons. One thing that I thought the NCDOT did well when they bid out the new Surf City high-rise bridge is they put an actual completion date in there, and they wrote it as an incentive-disincentive contract. And basically, this was the completion date, and in that particular contract, it was a $54 million contract, granted, but there's a $10,000 bonus or penalty from each date up to a certain amount. And so that motivated the contractor to, at their own expense, but they ran additional shifts to make sure that was done. And so that might be something for us to consider in the future, to write an incentive-disincentive contract with obviously a smaller amount than $10,000 for this private project.
The contracts have a disincentive clause. There's a liquidated damages clause, a certain amount per day for every day over the completion date.
Excellent.
If ONWASA doesn't extend it, on a large project, it's like $1,000 a day.
Okay.
So I have personally used incentive clauses in previous contracts. Sometimes they work. I found in several instances, the contractor will basically get into a big argument with you at the end. Says, well, there was weather and this happened and I should be entitled to that money. But yeah, I don't know, it's probably worth some discussion. But.
Yeah, if I could, right now, I don't believe we can do an incentive in our contracts under state law. The state can and does, DOT has that authority, but there, as Mr. Moore had said, there are issues when you do that.
And what we have tried to do, it's a certain philosophy in the contracts. We do not use the standard contract that the rest of the world uses. It looks a lot like it because we bought the program that allows us to modify it. But there are things in there that we don't give everybody money like weather. Weather is not a reason for an extension on your contract in our contract.
Build it into your bid.
It's built in. You gotta figure out and build that stuff in. We're not gonna pay you on the back end. The whole idea is to cut down on the amount of litigation that we have. Because I think every construction contract disagreement that I've ever been involved with maybe the exception of one or two, weather has been a component. Because the standard contract says, oh, well, if there's unusual weather, you get an extension. And I've had people come in and ask for extensions, and it's been just, abnormal. You weren't a drought or abnormally dry, and they're saying, oh, well, I need an extension because of all the rain we've had. And you look at it and go, no. But you get into that, and it takes a lot of time and effort. So we've consciously tried to avoid as much of that as possible.
Okay. And David, the penalty is $1,000 a day?
On a large job, it generally, this one is probably going to be, it probably is the $1,000 a day for something at this volume. You don't, on a job that's $50,000, you don't charge them $1,000 a day for going over, so you tend to do it less. But the last couple jobs we've had, it's been $1,000 a day.
I was just doing the math in my head, and based upon the bid, if they're 30 days late, it only costs them 1% of their bid.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah, and remember.
they're not gonna do what they did at Surf City for $1,000 a day is the point.
The issue you run into with liquidated damages, and which is always one of the thing that I found interesting from a legal standpoint, liquidated damages are supposed to be based on the amount of actual damages you will receive.
Right.
But if you can calculate the actual damages you're going to receive, you can't use liquidated damages.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, it makes no sense at
No,
all
it
if you think about it, but you're supposed to try to approximate what your actual damages are.
And you wanna lock it down to avoid litigation.
Right.
Perfect, okay.
Appreciate it, Royce. I just knew it was a light agenda, and I thought a little bit of entertainment with that
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
helpful.
You're always interested, buddy.
Any more
You and I.
discussion? Are y'all ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously, and we'll move on to the Plurus acquisition update, and I think that's Mr. Adams and Mr. Moore. Tag teaming, huh?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, board members. We had a very successful bond sale on October 26th. We entered into a challenging bond market at the end of October. October saw 10-year high on bond yields, so it was a very challenging market to enter, so we were very successful. We're very happy with the success of our sale. We did have a goal of staying under 5%, and I'm happy to report that we did keep that all-in total true interest cost of 4.97. So right there, the morning of the bond sale, underwriters indicated we may want to increase our coupon by 0.25%. We did not do that, so we were very happy. When orders began coming in, we actually received 4.5 times the number of orders to bond issuances, so we were able to go from those orders and make some adjustments on some of the higher yields to get that total true interest cost down under 5%. Again, it was very successful. Obviously, the bond closing proceeded along last week, as we are owners and operators of Plurus Webb Creek and Plurus North Topsail. The closing went smoothly. Happy to report part of the proceeds were able to be reimbursed to ONWASA to reimburse the $200,000 that we had used as a down payment, and some of our issuance costs related to the bond sale. So if you have any questions, be happy to answer those. Yes, sir.
Just real quick, so the 497 is, like, you've rolled in all the expenses.
That
So
is
that's the effective rate after all the expenses as well. So the real rate was probably like 4.7 or something like that.
It was 473 in there.
That's what it looked like to me. Thanks. That's excellent. It was a real good deal.
Thank you.
All right, for my half of the presentation, As Eric mentioned, on November 9th, we took full ownership of 2 wastewater treatment plants, Webb Creek and North Topsail, and associated collection systems formerly run by Plurus LLC in Onslow County. For people at home potentially that aren't familiar with these, Webb Creek serves selected developments in the Bear Creek, Hubert area, and North Topsail serves Sneads Ferry region and Topsail Island. 8 Plurus personnel also transitioned to employment with ONWASA on the 9th. So they've been through employee training and are now part of the staff. Since taking over daily operations last week, primary focus has been a crash course on plant operations and collection system infrastructure. Sorry, too many big words at once. This includes a wide range of activities from the critical to the mundane, including verifying primary and backup equipment is operating properly, establishing staffing schedules, and this is my favorite, even changing locks and or signage on nearly 950 pumping stations owned by Plurus, with the majority on Topsail Island. Yeah, padlocks. I can't believe how many padlocks we use. Example of items currently underway, I say we're a week into it. We're training ONWASA staff on plant operations and identifying any remedial work required at the treatment plants to bring them to operational standards or address deficiencies that we found. We're visiting the collection systems, pumping stations to verify operation, identify deficiencies, prioritize any repairs, and obtain information necessary for insurance purposes. We're still working with the League of Municipalities on insurance for the pumping stations. We're reviewing records on private developments that are planning to connect to the collection system and identifying projects with prior commitments from Plurus for inspections, equipment installations, and connection fees paid in advance of the transfer. Our own development services staff have been working like crazy to keep up with development, and basically we've just doubled it with everything else going on. So trying to get our mind wrapped around that. We're retiling and rebranding, I believe it's 13 vehicles, and evaluating other rolling stock and spare parts for use or salvage. We're still in the process of transferring operating permits from Plurus to ONWASA. We did get the one for Webb Creek this week. I was kind of holding my breath that the state didn't change the operating requirements, and all I needed them to do was erase Plurus and put down ONWASA, and on Webb Creek they did, so cross our fingers. The last time I had was we're ensuring a smooth transition to customer billing through ONWASA. Information on the transfer will be mailed to customers in the near future, and an FAQ page is posted on ONWASA's website. There's quite a number of things that's been very helpful. I guess that's kind of, in a nutshell, where we stand as of today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Were some of the employees that transferred over operational type, so you got some historical reference for all these pump stations and everything?
We had a I don't want to say not a disappointment, but there were 2 plant operators, the primary operators for the 2 facilities. The one decided to stay with Plurus kind of at the last minute. We actually had one of our own staff stepped up and agreed to fill that role, so that's worked out fairly well. But yeah, the North Topsail plant, the operator in charge stayed on and is with us now. So
That's the one at the foot of the bridge?
it's further up 210. Not at the foot of the bridge. What's it close to?
It's not a big deal. I just saw, that's where the Plurus trucks used to be, and I saw an
What's that?
ONWASA truck there.
Yeah, close to Dixon Middle School.
How many more positions do you have to fill?
Of the 25 that
24 total,
what was it?
24?
24 total, that does include, for the Plurus side as well.
But that was what, they authorized 25, and I think,
Of those, we have 11 to fill.
Okay, it's 11 left.
yeah.
And we're interviewing consistently.
I'm sure you will.
Yes.
Wow. You know, what we found that helps us is if you can go down to the Employment Security Commission, NC Works, and set up some type of a table and advertise it, that they can come in and have an interview right away. You might find not necessarily people getting money for unemployment, but those that may be looking for a job, that has helped us tremendously. We go there almost every week.
Really? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We've been working with one of the representatives to get that set up.
Good.
So, hopefully it will help.
Yeah. Best of luck on it. That's a lot of positions to fill.
Positions.
Suspect we are likely to get some phone calls from people when they see their bills are different, so, if you need to call the office and understand why they're different, I'm sure we can accommodate that. Okay,
There may also be some, you talked about calls, the Plurus's method for approving development and connection to the system was quite a bit different than ours. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve with the developers and contractors on what they need to do. Some of it's going to be easier, some of it's just going to be different. So we'll do what we can to smooth it, but yeah, everybody's in a hurry to get something built, so.
Paul.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're planning to connect to the Holly Ridge area for, to
We actually have a contract for design of a force main system and pump stations, goes from Holly Ridge to Summer House, and then all the way to the North Thompson plant, so.
Anybody else?
Question,
Yes, sir.
League of Municipalities handles our insurance. Correct. If they accepted the valuation for Plurus and the wet plant, or is that still to be negotiated or what?
I had talked to Frankie about it. I don't know, Eric, did
Yeah.
you deal with them?
We have submitted our valuations. They are actually to be on site at both facilities tomorrow afternoon to do their final assessment.
So far, we've accepted Plurus's valuation of property?
For the property tax?
No, for the insurance value of the, basically the replacement cost of the plants.
Yeah, the only proviso to that would be the pumping stations, the sewer pumping stations. They've asked us for a comprehensive list and also our valuation of the individual stations, because they were kind of lumped into everything else, so.
But it is my understanding that the insurance does cover them as of the date we purchased them. We did make sure that happened. So we are insured. As far as what the final value on those plants will be, though, will be determined after. I guess Eric's going to meet with them tomorrow and take care of that.
In other words, the league isn't just accepting Plurus's valuation
Right.
point blank, they're going to do their own evaluation?
Yeah, and that's normal for
Okay,
most
it
companies.
is normal, but it has to be done.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, our next item is, item number 4, is a special presentation. I'm going to say farewell to our Secretary Treasurer, Pat. And she's got some guests that are coming in to support her. We want to recognize Swansboro Commissioners Larry Philpott and Jeff Conaway, who are here to support their fellow commissioner as we present to her a farewell. Pat's been with us since January 2018, and she's served as Secretary Treasurer for the last 2 years. She's been a very great board member. She's been here for most of our meetings, and she's helped us guide us through a hurricane in 2018 and a capital improvement program and many other events over the last, five years or so. So we have a plaque for you, Pat, if you'll just come on up here and let's present you this plaque.
Ain't you got Plurus done?
I know. Yeah, you forgot Plurus. Come on.
So, yeah, wanted to present this to you and,
Royce, if you could go to the microphone so they can see, get it on television.
oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it could be on television. So we want to make this presentation to our Secretary Treasurer, Pat Turner, and thank Commissioners Philpott and Conaway for coming to support her. We appreciate all your service to ONWASA over the last 5 years. we're gonna miss you, but I know you'll be busy in your community, taking care of
Thank you so
taking care of
much.
business.
Thank you.
All right.
I do want to thank the staff. You guys have been great, all of you. This is probably one of the best run meetings I have ever been to. It's so put together, and any questions we have are answered beforehand. Staff is always here to answer any questions, and I truly am going to miss every single one of you. Board members, I'm going to miss you guys. I really am. I thank you very much for everything you do, and maybe our paths will cross again. Thank you.
Pat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oops.
Thanks.
Sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And you guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. And again, staff, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Norris, do we have any public comment? No public comments, so we'll move on to our Chief Operating Officer comments. Mr. Moore, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Wow,
Chance now.
on the
Come
stage. No, Mr. Howard didn't pass anything on to me, and I'm afraid this was thrust on me at the last minute, but I will offer on a project update, and kind of a, something we've been working on for quite a while, the water main project from Hubert Water Treatment Plant to the Piney Green area, new transmission main. We've been trying for 2.5 years to get an easement from the Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune to do the project, and actually received a communication 2 weeks ago that they're going to accept our request and move forward with trying to get an easement worked out. So it's been a long struggle. Interestingly enough, they also sent us an invoice for almost $18,000 for administrative fees to help process the easement. So, yeah, gotta love the federal government sometimes. Anyway, I just wanted, the only other thing I would say is I want to give a shout out to the staff. You know, people have been extremely concerned about the Plurus thing and making sure, you know, we could deal with it. And there's a lot going on right now. Everybody's was busy before, and it's just even more. And I'm personally, with the operating group, I'm extremely proud of how they've managed to deal with it this week and trying to make progress and move forward. So that's it.
Thank you, sir. Director comments, Mr. Foster?
Just thank you, Pat, for everything. Enjoyed working with you. Good luck in everything, and I know you're going to enjoy a little more extra time, and well-deserved.
Thank you.
Mr. Bittner?
Just want to express my thanks for the staff, particularly the director and the engineer and our finance officer for concluding a excellent transition of the Flores facilities and a successful bond sale. Thank you.
Yes, Pat, I wouldn't have met you if it had been for the ONWASA board here, so I'm glad that this brought us together, and thank you for your service to the board. To the COO and to the staff, when we first entertained the offer of Plurus to buy these plants, the board sat there and knew that we would be buying different technology that we currently use, and so we're very glad to see that you came on board and accepted the new technology that is already there, and the staff as well too, and knowing that there's additional training and stuff like that. So good job on that. Good job on leading your staff with that as well too, and thank you for all that you do.
Mr. Grant?
I would second the comment about the staff and everybody. It's a learning experience for me, and congratulations on getting that interest rate. That's pretty amazing given what's going on now. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving, and I guess Merry Christmas, because we'll not be meeting again.
That's right, yeah. Ms. Turner?
I think I've said everything. Again, staff, thank you so much for everything you do. And the Plurus thing is just the ice, topping on the ice cream.
There you go.
So it's
Yeah.
great, thank you.
Mr. Vice Chairman?
Ms. Turner, it's been awesome. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Your citizens have been well represented by you. I hope they know that.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you as always. New face in the crowd, man. I haven't had a chance to meet you yet. Good to meet you. Grant. Hey. So, guys, thank you very much for everything that you do. Carry on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, this board, and all that you, the work that you do, and Pat also. We appreciate your service. Appreciate the employees and getting us through this Plurus thing. I know it's still going to be a learning curve for a while, but we'll get through it. It's going to be good for Onslow County. Our director's son is at a national 4-H poultry competition. He's got a lot of country in him. Yeah.
Just don't say chicken now.
I hope his son comes out a winner and he gets a safe trip back to us. But we appreciate all of you being here tonight. Thank you for your service, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.